Welcome, everybody, to Crunch Time with Jeff, Booner, Lukas, and Gentry. It is July 5th, the day after 4th of July. Hope everyone had a safe day yesterday. Had some fun out there. I know I got some collar going. I was out on the water all day.
Take the hat off.
No sunscreen. No sunscreen at all. Don't believe in it. And I definitely paid for the consequences.
The people did ask for you to tan the top of your head, and I think you did it.
Yeah, I'm burned. So, hey, I said the other day that I don't burn. I was lying. I definitely did burn today. But hope everyone had a great 4th of July. Lukas is out until Monday. He'll be back with us. Michael Gentry will be joining the show very soon. Appreciate ETN. He just became a member for 3 months. His congrats on 8K subs, fellas. Appreciate all the fellas on air and in the chat for me. Welcome. Y'all are real ones. All love ETN, man. I hope you had a great birthday. You know how much we love you, and we appreciate you. So that's awesome, man. Just became a member for 3 months, man. Shout out ETN.
What a legend.
Coach Walk says that's what real men do, Jeff. Yeah, you know what? You just kind of go through the ups and downs. You know, you go outside, it kind of just happens. But we're here, and we got a packed show today. A lot of Lions to get to. We're gonna have our own tiers. We're gonna do NFL tiers in the second hour, which I'm excited for. We're going to go through each tier. We have our own custom tier list, and we're going to put teams where they deserve to be put. We're going to talk about Amik Robertson getting frustrated that people are calling him a role player or depth piece, as he would say. But we got a lot to get to, and we just hit 8,000 subscribers, Booner. So that is
we go, baby.
We're almost at 8.1 thousand. So that is huge.
And if people too, we are doing a giveaway right now on our socials. We're giving away a Detroit Lions jersey, so it's going until Monday. So through the weekend, you guys go. It's simple to enter. I think it's on Twitter. I think it's like retweet, subscribe to the YouTube, which I'm sure everyone watching right now is already subscribed, and just a couple steps and have a chance to win a Lions jersey. One of the new Detroit Lions jerseys too. So, and it's the same thing on Instagram, so you can almost get a double entry basically.
Yeah. Get in while you can. It's on Instagram and on X. So if you want to participate, potentially win a Lions jersey. I mean, you guys are already subscribed, so all you would have to do is the simple steps, which aren't hard to do at all. And you're entered for a chance to win a Lions jersey. And for Jeff Olson, maybe a Red Wings jersey because he is not a Lions fan. But hey, he is
Shout out the Bucks.
Yeah, he is. We're not buying a Bucks jersey. Sorry about that, Jeff Olson. But Booner, like I mentioned, we got a lot of things to get to today. I saw a post on X that just made me think, and it's a great post we can use to really mention a Lions player, and we can bring up a player in the NFL that we feel this way about, and that is this graphic, which it's very simple. Production, talent, recognition. And first, you can give me a Lions player you feel this way about. Chat can participate. And then you can give me an NFL player you feel this way about. Because I think there's a lot of players this could apply to.
There was a ton of players. There was a bunch that came to my mind. I do think there's like one obvious Detroit Lions one. I don't know who you got. Like you could say like an offensive lineman because offensive linemen don't really get recognition. Actually, they do. I wanted to go Frank Ragnow, but Frank, he's a second team All-Pro. I feel like that's recognition, correct?
Yeah, but last year I didn't hear a lot of Frank's the best center in the league. I don't really hear that, often. It was Creed. It was all about Creed Humphreys.
Jason Kelce.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that'd be fair. I think that would be fair. I'm
not gonna go Frank though. I'm looking more so as like recognition as like getting an award and like kind of putting up the numbers, and you're not getting the pullback of the awards. Like you're not getting awarded that. So I'm going to go the obvious one, the one that in Detroit, I think he gets recognition in Detroit a lot and most recently, but even before this year, he wasn't really getting a lot of recognition. It was more so a lot of hate and question. But I think now in Detroit, he gets recognition. Nationally though, this guy, he does not get any recognition, it feels like, and still people are kind of take shots at him. That's the quarterback of the Detroit Lions, Jared Goff. And I don't think that's like an argument that you can kind of go back at it a little bit because you maybe the talent, but I still think like Jared Goff's talented. I always bring up the stats with Jared Goff, how he's, in the last 2 or 3 years, he's top 2 or top 3 in quarterback wins, right there with Patrick Mahomes and like Josh Allen. He's right up there. He's top 2 and 3 in passing yards and touchdowns the last 2 or 3 years. Number 2 in passing yards last year, number 4. Like I do feel like he hasn't gotten any awards for anything. And I'm like in my head, that's kind of what this graphic kind of shows is someone who puts all the numbers up. He leads this football team. The people in Detroit love him, but nationally, does Jared Goff get recognition nationally? Not at all. Like I think if someone told me he did, I think you'd be lying. Maybe by a couple analysts over in ESPN, like Dan Orlovsky and like a couple guys. But I think overall, around the country and NFL fans do not give recognition to what Jared Goff has done in Detroit. I think it's more so as Detroit Lions as a whole over what Jared Goff has.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad one. I thought about Jared Goff, and honestly, it's not that I didn't choose him because I didn't think he deserved it. I don't think he gets a lot of recognition. I think the narrative for Goff, it was kind of surrounding what happened in LA, and then it took him some time to kind of get respect. But I think people still look at him as the LA quarterback a little bit. So I really don't hate that. I think that's a good one. The easiest one, it's not an interesting selection, but the easiest one to me is Jack Fox because he's the best punter and no one talks about him. So,
wow.
Yeah. I'm not going to go that route though, but that's what I immediately thought of. I'm like, Jack Fox, dude, my best, if not the best punter in the league, one of, and you never hear anything about Jack Fox. Punters don't get no love. So Jack Fox is definitely up there. But another player that I thought of is actually, I had 2 that I had a hard time kind of deciding between. One of them being Amon Ra, but he was just first team All Pro. So, or he was second team or first team?
First, I believe.
Yeah, he was first. So I get the All Pro stuff. I just think Amon Ra never really gets talked about enough nationally. I guess that's where my mind went, and that's why I was leaning Frank Ragnow because, and I get your point about him being an All Pro, but I just don't think Frank gets talked about enough. And I watch a lot of national just outlets, and even last year, I know this past year the Lions were really good, but even when they weren't as good, or mid or below that and really, really bad, you saw the impact this team had without Frank and what happened. I just think his value is understated. And last year I got into an argument with Lucas and Sam Flannel. Shout out to them because we were talking about the best centers in the league. In now they realize it. But at the time it was Creed Humphreys. I mean, they're like, oh yeah, no doubt it's Creed Humphreys. I'm like, why is everyone forgetting about Frank Ragnow? I don't understand. This dude is one of the best centers. It was because Jason Kelce was in the league, and you could argue him. But Frank's been one of the best centers for years, years. He's been up there for most of his career, and I don't think he gets the recognition he deserves. And Amon Ra, I think, does because it's sexy. You're a wide receiver. You put up numbers. Like Frank, there's not really anything to measure it. So that's why I went with Frank, despite him being an All-Pro. Like you could go with other players, but I think for how good that specific player is versus – I guess the coverage they get, All Pro. Yeah, I understand that. But coverage wise, no one talks about Frank Ragnow, man. Like that dude is one of the best at his position. I think he's the best right now.
I mean, with Jason Kelce retiring, you could say Humphrey, but I do think that Frank is the best center in the NFL currently. Like
I would agree.
Now that like there's the Jason Kelce's out, I think you can make the argument like he is the best in the NFL at what he does. I don't hate that though because like he's been an All Pro, but like that is a position to where you don't get a lot of recognition as the offensive line, unless you're like a tackle, like Penei Sewell, Trent Williams, like those guys always are getting recognition.
Mm-hmm.
But like a center is typically not. Like I don't know if you remember like the Jason Kelce thing, him getting big, and with the podcast with Travis, like I remember him talking about all the time that like this is like big for centers because they never get any sort of spotlight or shine on them, and the fact that he's became so big as an offensive lineman in the center, that helps. So I do think like Frank deserves that a lot. Did you have any like Lions honorable mentions or anyone who should be, or if anyone in the chat wants to throw in it? Because I'm interested to see. I'd be interested.
It's tough because how are we measuring talent? Like another player I would say, to be honest with you, I think is very underrated is Dave Montgomery. I think he's underrated.
I had him.
But then you look at like, do they have to be like superstar? Can they just be a really good player? I think David's should be mentioned as one of those guys. Like
I do too.
He's very good. I just don't think he gets talked about enough. Jameer's starting to get more, so like he's starting to get more recognition. But I think even Jameer's not really. Lee McNeil, I saw ETN put.
The other one I wrote down here on my paper was I saw someone just put it in there, put it in there, Alex Anzalone. I do think Anzo deserves. He doesn't get a ton of recognition. I thought he was going to have a chance at a Pro Bowl season before he went down with the injury for a couple games. I thought he was going to have that opportunity, and he didn't. But he's a dude that he's extremely good great at his job, and he just doesn't get the recognition because there's so many high level players at that position.
Yeah, I thought about this too. Like, can you name me 10 centers in the NFL?
No, 3.
You know what I mean? And that's what, when you go to receiver, we can do a top 10 list off the top of our head. We can go tackles and get damn near close to top 10, and just thinking of guys that are great at tackle. Like centers, even the teams that have really good centers, you don't even know their name. I mean, it's hard unless they're marketable, like Jason Kelsey or Frank, because of locally we know them.
Yeah.
But like Creed Humphrey, I mean, there's not too many. You're just like, oh yeah, you're thinking of centers just off the top of your head. That's why I think even for a guy like Frank, he's not the most. He doesn't have his own podcast. He has a fishing channel.
There's a fishing. Hey, you go the fishing.
Great work. People go check his stuff out.
I just saw him put up a picture today or yesterday, and he had he just kept scrolling. He just caught 100 fish. It was just
yeah, but he's not the type of guy that wants to be, Hollywood. So that's why I think he deserves more recognition. Even though he doesn't like to be the focus of everything, but he is. I mean, you could argue besides tackle, center is the most important position on the offense. I mean, it might even be up there with tackle, to be honest with you.
I was making the argument last year on air that I thought the center, when Frank goes down, and I believe he went down. I could be wrong, and someone can fact check me on this. I believe it might have been the Ravens game, or it was one of the losses, and he goes down. And I remember listening to an interview with Frank and someone else. I can't remember. I wish I could credit whoever did the interview. But the amount of things that Frank does and the center does, I just don't think people realize that he is essentially like the quarterback of the offense as well when it comes to checks and calling out blitzes and changing coverages and doing different things. And a guy like Frank Ragnow, who is at such a high level, who's able to have that connection with Jared Goff, make all those calls as well with him and change all the blocks and do everything, and as well as be, block as high as of level as he does. I think you see it when he went down for one game, it's a massive loss for this offense. When he leaves the Detroit Lions, they're going to need an elite, they need a really good replacement, or they need to get someone in there. In my opinion, you need to get someone in the building quick for Frank Ragnow so he could teach him before he ends up leaving.
Yeah, I think understanding the relationship between a quarterback and a center is something that can't really be duplicated. I mean, you have Graham, who's more of a veteran, but the cadences, like what Jared likes to do.
Yep.
Frank understands all of that. So
the center calls out changes all the blocks and calls the blitzes. The center does all of that too. The quarterback, the center is doing that as well. If you see Frank out there pointing it, with Graham hops in there, Graham could do it, but Graham's not doing it all the time. It's such a big, it's an underrated position. I like that, Jeff. I love that.
Now NFL, if we're going NFL,
I hope you don't have the same one, dude.
Well, you go. Who's your NFL?
I have a quarterback. I'll let you go, but I have a quarterback. I don't know if you have who you have.
No, I went with wide receiver.
Okay, who'd you have?
The player I had, very random, and I don't have any specific ties, as in I'm a fan of his. We've talked about him a couple times. The more I was thinking about wide receivers, one guy I don't think really gets talked about at all, Nico Collins.
Love that.
I think Nico's really good. I mean, last year showed what he can be. I'm not a Michigan fan, never been a fan of Nico, but man, I think, what do you have, 1,300 yards, and no one really talking about him. He just got paid. Now, I think Nico Collins came to mind pretty quickly. I respect him.
I love that, Jeff. And this isn't sometimes me and you go back and forth. This isn't me.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely asking. I think we were on a show last year together with Flannel, and I think it might have been you on I can't remember which show. It might have been a college football pregame or something.
Mm-hmm.
And me and Flannel said Nico's going to have a big season, and everyone on the show was like, "Oh, no, not Nico. You guys are just Michigan fans." And he ended up turning around, having a massive season. And I think a lot of people were shocked at what Nico and that's with Tank Dell there as well. Mm-hmm. Robert Woods was there. They had such a good, and he ended up coming out as the number one that. And he's elite. He's so good.
Yeah. Especially when Tank went down. I mean, they depended on him. So I got a quarterback, but that was the first one that came to mind.
All right. I only have one player. I had a quarterback. I brought Justin Herbert.
That was mine. It's a good one.
That was who I had. I just go back and look at the 2-year span. If you take away last year, because I think last year he was in such a bad position, I think like the 2 years before that, 4,700 yards, 5,000 yards. And in that 5,000 yard season, he had 38 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. And I went back and looked a little bit, Jeff. There's only been 2 players in the NFL that threw for 5,000 yards in that span, Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. And no one talks about Justin Herbert. And I think it's because he's been like covered up by like the Brandon Staley and all of that ugly smoke going on over there in LA.
A little bit of Stafford effect to it.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
And I think this man ends up turning things around with Jim Harbaugh. Like, I truly hope so, because he might be one of the most talented quarterbacks in the entire NFL. And no one's got to really see it yet on like a national stage because of Brandon Staley.
Yeah, I just don't think that he's it's not that I don't think media refuses to cover him. I just think they haven't been good, so they just don't really spend time on the Chargers. And then you have the Rams in LA as well, and they play in the same stadium. I agree that he's underrated. Like, we had him in our quarterback ranking. He was like top 5, whatever, but I think they now they have Jim Harbaugh, I think he'll be talked about a lot more.
I think he's played 4 seasons. He's had 0 all-pro seasons, and he's thrown for 5,000 yards. Like, that's insane. You throw for 5,000 yards and almost 40 touchdowns, and you don't have an all-pro. Like, that's nuts. Not even second team.
Not AFC, man. The AFC got a lot of quarterbacks in there.
Yeah, the division, like, that's tough, dude.
Yeah.
But still, like,
no doubt.
You put those numbers up back-to-back years. That's to not even get an award is crazy.
Sound says, yeah, he's very overrated. All he does is stat pad and loses. Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Well, that's into Silent. You know what? To understand his point, there is that gets brought up. People, you're not going to get respect till you win. I understand that. But let's not make the same mistake again. Remember Stafford was that? 1 year in LA wins the Super Bowl. We got to watch with that, throwing around that overrated term. Like,
I do.
You put Herbert, swap them with, and I don't want to go Chiefs. It's too easy, but any good situation, I'm telling you, you'd see the results. I get it. He hasn't won, but like, let's slow down and like, oh, he's just stat padding. It's hard. You just mentioned it. Does Mahomes and Tom Brady, those guys, yeah, they win. But look at the teams and the situations they've had as well. We can't just discount that.
Dude, if you're putting those numbers up, whether you're stat padding or not, like, you still have to be talented to do that. In 5,000, there's only been 3 quarterbacks in the last 3 or 4 years that have put 5,000 yards up, and that's Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, and Justin Herbert.
No doubt.
Like, whether you're stat padding or not, like, he's making those plays and he's throwing the ball. That's the same thing with the golf stuff with the ducks. People are like, oh, he throws ducks. That I say the Ducks threw for the second most passing yards in the entire NFL and won a lot of football games.
So, now, like, it happens. Silence says Stafford needed a super team to accomplish anything in the NFL. If the argument is that he needs a perfect situation to do anything, that's not an argument.
I don't know if it's they had great players. Like, it was a really good football team, but any team that wins a Super Bowl has really, really good.
Yeah, they're going to be great. Go back. And then to ask a quarterback to win a Super Bowl with like a below average team, that's just like, what are we doing?
No one's really done it. Name me a player who's actually won. Maybe get there, but win it, that's tough. Tom Brady, none of Tom Brady's teams were below average. Like, they always had a good defense or a good run.
Yeah, you need a good team to win. You need good coaches. It's just like it. I don't think that's like foreign to anybody. No. The Rams, they had a good team. It just
you could pick off like all-time Hall of Fame players on every single Super Bowl team and be like, stacked team. And now I think maybe this last Chiefs team might be the closest one you can argue that wasn't that great of a team. But they still got the job done.
What we have to factor is not necessarily the team, but moments. Like, I look at Joe Flacco and the Ravens. Like, Joe Flacco had just an insane playoff run playing the way he did. But when you look at the Stafford in this team last year or a couple years ago when they won, you look at the moments. Like, look at the playoffs. There's times where that Bucs game, they were cooked. And then Cooper Kupp, that pass to Cooper Kupp put him, basically sealed it away, and they beat Tom Brady. Like, there's moments where Stafford rose to the occasion.
They were a play away from not going to a Super Bowl.
So that's what you have to factor into. Like, Herbert one day will have that. He'll have that opportunity, and it's up to him if he shits the bed or not. To have a great team around him.
That's why I think it's more important to have a great team, and then you can find your quarterback. That's why the Lions.
It's a team game. You can't. It's just different. That's how it works. Need a good defense. I mean, we mentioned it. You mentioned all the time with the Lions. You get this defense top 10, way better than what they've been. See what you can get out of it.
Yep.
But speaking of the defense, Amik Robertson's a part of that defense, and he's had a little issue with what people have been saying about him. I mean, come on. He says, dog, y'all need to bury this depth player shit. There's no T, so she. LOL, stop playing with me. Y'all gonna see. Y'all gonna see though. Keep that same energy. I don't know. By the way, do we do this? I don't think we called him a depth player. And I was immediately thought about that. Like,
no, I don't think it was us.
Who's calling this man a depth player?
Do you want me to be honest?
I mean, technically, he kind of is, but that's a whole nother thing.
I was saying, do you want me to be honest, or do you want me to is he watching?
Quick, can I just say this? And this frustrates me in the NFL. Is people are so obsessed with who's starting, and I understand it. It matters who's starting at corner and all that stuff. If you're playing significant snaps, who cares? Like, who cares? You don't think Amik Robertson's going to play a lot of snaps? Yeah, he will. So I don't know how if you watch someone that said something specifically about him, but you have Carlton Davis, who's a legit CB1. Terrion, you drafted to be your CB2. Amik, if he plays in the slot, great, but you would assume Brian Branch is out there. He's going to come in a lot and play. So I'm not even worried about like the depth piece stuff. I actually love this. I think it speaks to Amik Robertson's mindset, and he's just a dog, and he's gonna work even harder to get after it. So I appreciate that mindset of like, okay, people calling me a depth piece, he's gonna go harder. So I love that, but I think the term depth piece, Booner, gets like, we're not talking about some like in the NBA like a 10th man on the bench. Like we're talking about a contributor.
If we're just, I mean, I can just be honest here. I'll just say how it is. I don't know if Amik Robertson watches our show. I think the way we've talked about it and what the truth is, I think the whole secondary is the whole corner room right now is just depth, and like every single like conversation and interview that has came out from Carlton Davis, Terrion Arnold, Amik Robertson, Enos Rakestraw, like every single interview that came out during mini camps of him, Jeff, or of any of these guys, all they talk about is how competitive it is in that room. So I don't know if there's like anyone that's like, oh, he's a number 1, he's a number 2, he's a number 3, he's a 4, 5, 6. I think right now it's just like we have such a deep corner room right now. All these guys are competing. I don't, like you said, like my first initial thought, exactly what you said. Like, I don't think it's a bad thing if you're depth. And I think Carlton Davis is a part of the depth. Terrion is, Amik Robertson, like all of these guys are a part of your depth. And there's going to be rotations. There's going to be guys that get hurt. Like there's going to be different scenarios that I'm sure AG is going to try out different guys at different spots. Like I don't see right now there being like, hey, this is like Amik Robertson is just a great depth guy if someone goes down. Like, no, he's going to find out. He's going to be on the field at some point. He proved it in Las Vegas when he was their corner 1 for a little bit. When guys get hurt, and he steps up and he's dominating. Like, and then he there's a reason why he got signed. Like, I just think it's like go out there and compete. Like, don't even think about like the depth there. I do like that he tweeted that out, and he's like, I like the mindset, but I also the other side of things. It's just like, who cares about that? Like, go out there and prove that you're more than that. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, if Amik Robertson was on this team last year, he'd be their number 1 corner. I mean,
yeah.
So it's not a discussion of skill. We know he's very talented. I mean, I talk about it all the time, and I mentioned it before. The player I'm most excited to see is Amik Robertson in the secondary because I just want to know more about him. I mean, we saw him with the Raiders, and he was really good for them. But I think he's kind of a do-it-all DB, and he's the type of DB that Aaron Glenn absolutely loves. Yeah. So I think Amik with the Lions is a perfect fit. Again, they have a lot of talent. So to your point, like there's going to be a lot of guys that play. I mean, you're going to see a lot of players out there. And there's going to be different packages that AG has where it allows more DBs on the field, and Amik will be out there more. So I'm not as concerned, and I don't think Amik should be with the whole depth piece thing. Like if you're playing significant snaps, like you're fine. And could he be out Terrion Arnold? I don't think so. But again, that he's going the job. They're going to compete. So
I think the good thing for him is that he's like the Swiss Army knife of that room.
Absolutely.
Like and the reason, yeah, and it's not just but it's like that he's gone out there in the NFL, and he's kind of a story that had to kind of go out there and prove it and earn it the last couple of years in his career to kind of get his career going. And he's played all these different spots in the secondary to where now you come in and he has an advantage over a lot of different players, I feel like, to where he's able to be a Swiss Army knife. And he needs to go in the nickel, he can do that. If he needs to go outside, he can do that. Like he can do everything. And that's where I think for him, it benefits him over a couple other guys because he's able to go out there and do that. And I think he's going to end up being on the field. And I think I mentioned it once. I said him and Terrion, obviously, because of the Brian Branch thing, like Brian Branch coming from Bama last year, we knew like you can't keep this guy off the field. I think Terrion's going to get to that point. I think Amik Robertson might end up being one of those guys that like he's a Dan Campbell in like AG type of player. Like he goes out there and all he's going to do is compete. He's going to talk and he's going to let people know and he's going to like go out there and dominate. And it's like, dude, those are hard guys to keep off the field. Like those are hard guys for AG to say, hey, we need to get you off the field. So I think there's going to be a spot for him. That's why I think we said it when we did our predictions. We did our secondary predictions. I think all of us had Amik Robertson in there, I believe. I could be wrong. I think we moved Brian Branch to safety and we put Amik. I'm pretty sure we did.
I had Brian in the slot, even though
you went Iffy and Kirby.
Lucas did. I know Lucas for sure did. He for sure had Amik in the slot, or he had it might be Ennis, but he didn't have Brian in the slot. That's all I remember. I just think you have to put Brian back in the slot. He was so good for them.
Yeah,
and I just think for a guy with his skill set, his ability to tackle, you got to put him in the slot again. Like I think he should be playing nickel. Maybe, Meek is you got to get him out there. So maybe you move Branch to safety. I understand that, but do you want to take Kirby? Like Kirby, I think just being out there affects the quarterback just because of his ball skills. And if
he's a ball hawk.
So like, that's why I struggled with it. Like Amik was kind of the guy that I was like, okay, I think he'll be out there, but maybe not starting. I think
AG's got a decision. Like it's going to be interesting. That's going to be interesting.
My take on it. Like I think Brian's just I think he'd be a great safety. You could play him. I mean, he could play multiple positions, but I think in the slot, that's where he's most valuable in the run game too. And Amik's good too, but Brian is just. We're just higher on Brian. I think we all are. So
I'm interested to see how fast Terrion Arnold ends up coming in and taking that. If he takes that CB2 spot instantly, or if they're with Amik on it to start. That's I think the most interesting storyline when it comes to the corners.
Yeah, because Amik played. He played a little bit of both for the Raiders. I know in terms of the passer rating allowed, he allowed at 85.7. So he was actually pretty good for the Raiders. I don't know. I don't have the numbers in front of me from when he played in the slot versus played outside. I would assume that with his size, he's probably better inside. But again, that's why. I mean, when you have a guy like Brian Branch, it's like, I mean,
do you think, and this is I guess this might be a question for a guy like the Doc when he comes in, Emmanuel Mosley coming off the double ACL,
he's kind of a big question mark too. Like what does he look like? I don't even know.
Because this is a big what if, but what if he comes back fully healthy, looks like the old Emmanuel Mosley? Chances of that happening probably pretty low, pretty slim. Yeah. But if he does, then you're sitting there, you have a room. Like you have like here we go. We've got a legit corner room.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Ryan, thank you for this, Ryan, by the way. He says he was better outside last year, Jeff. Yeah, and I remember that game he had against the Chiefs. I think he was guarding Rashee Rice, and he played really well. So, yeah, Ryan is right. And, man, it's going to be a battle. Maybe Terrion is the one that starts off a little slower. I don't know. I mean, week one.
Training camp's going to tell a lot.
Yeah, it will. That's going to solve it all. I mean – and maybe we're just assuming Carlton Davis is your CB1. Maybe I don't know. There's a lot of shit.
I think you have to assume Carlton's number one.
We'll see. I think he will be. But man, I think the secondary, there's a couple guys that are kind of in the same tier, in my opinion. That's why it's like, I don't know. Mike P just became a Crunch member. So Mike,
shout out Mike P.
Thank you for that.
That might be the most interesting battle of training camp. Is the corner room. Like that might when we go to training camp. Seeing those corners go up against Amon Ra and J-Mo and those guys, Khalif Raymond. All right, here we go. Let's see who's going to win this battle.
And then you get week one, Cup and Nacua. Yeah, that's who they're facing.
Yeah, like who's got that matchup? Who's got those matchups?
By the way, earlier, Coach Walk 37. Man, shout out to Coach Walk. He just became a member for 5 months. Happy birthday, ETN. You are the man. Yeah, man, we appreciate all you guys. Thank you, Coach. But I want to transition here because we talked about Amik Robertson, and I want to move to the offense where the Bills DC said the hardest OC
Interesting.
to prepare for was Ben Johnson. And we're going to talk about what's kind of the ceiling of this offense. So let's get to this video. And it's the Bills defensive coordinator talking about just offensive coordinators that give him problems, maybe the hardest to prepare for. And you're gonna want to hear this because it speaks to what kind of offensive coordinator Ben Johnson is. Let's get to it.
Against Ben Johnson. Gotcha.
Who
is the toughest offensive coordinator in the NFL right now to prepare against? Ben Johnson. Gotcha. What makes him so tough? It was funny. We were just having this conversation today. I think Detroit does a great job, and this is from years ago. They do a lot of things, and they do them well, which that's hard to do. That's hard to do, and it's hard to prepare for. Give me your favorite Bobby. Who is the toughest?
There you go. I mean, are we surprised? No. I mean, Ben Johnson is an absolute magician. And I think what makes the Lions so hard to prepare for is they're so good at running the football, and they have the best offensive line. It's like their personnel absolutely matters on top of Ben Johnson's creativity. It's like the match made in heaven. They have everything they need to do what Ben and Dan want to do. They have the offensive line. They have the running backs. They have a receiver and a tight end. They have a quarterback that knows how to execute. I mean, when you put all those things together, Booner, it's just it's like, how do you just need guys to just drop footballs or Jared to be off, or you just need something to go wrong. I mean, that's essentially you're praying. You're praying.
He is in a great spot. Like Ben is and I think that's a reason why he hasn't chose to leave yet, because he knows like the offense that he's in right now and that he's running, being one of the best in the NFL. Like he said when he had the interview this year, he was like, why would I leave a great position to go to somewhere where it's like I might struggle for a couple of years? So I think Ben, like knowing he has Jared Goff to rely on, he has top 5 wide receiver in Amon-Ra St. Brown, in my opinion, the best running back duel in the entire NFL, the best running back room. Now that you have Sione Vaki, like you have one of the best tight, like everything you have, the best offensive line. I think it just gets better. I went back and looked, Jeff, because I was interested when you put this topic in there. I was like, I wonder like how much better Ben Johnson can get, or how much better he's gotten. Because in 2022, let me throw these stats at you. Let me get my flannel bag for you here real quick.
Oh,
in 2022, all right, I'm going by, this is the offensive stats. Yards per game. The Detroit Lions were 4th in yards per game. In 2023, they moved up a spot and they became the 3rd best team in yards per game. In 2022, passing yards per game. So how did their passing game look? Jared Goff, Amon-Ra, did these guys get better? Did Ben Johnson go out there and scheme a little bit better? They were 8th in the NFL in 2022, went all the way up from 8th to 2nd in 2023. So it was a 6-team jump. They went all the way up into the 2nd best team in the NFL at passing the ball. Running the ball, they were the 11th team, the 11th best rushing team in the entire NFL in 2022. They jumped all the way from 11th to top 5. So like everything Ben Johnson's doing, I know you get Jahmyr Gibbs and guys get better. You bring in Graham, like you do these different things. And then in points per game, they're top 5 for the past 2 years in points per game. So like this offense under Ben Johnson just continues to get better. And I think part of it too, I think what it comes down to, it's just like, dude, these guys are getting another year together. You thought Ben Johnson was going to leave last year? Nope. He's going to stay. He's going to take you to an NFC championship game. He's going to improve in every statistical category. Guess what he's going to do this year? He's going to stay because he wants to go win the Super Bowl. And this offense, guess what it's going to do? It's only going to get better, and it can only go up from here. Like there's no taking a step back in a Ben Johnson offense this year. Like the third most yards per game. Guess what this makes me feel like he's going to do this year? He's going to go out there and have the best offense in the entire NFL. And I don't think that's like a crazy thing to say. I think like I know I go down a little bit on this wide receiver room. I think they find a way to work these guys in, bring in new guys, make Amon-Ra gets better, Sam Laporta gets better, Jahmyr Gibbs. We talked about the jump that we think he's going to have. They still have the number 1 offense in the NFL, like offensive line in the NFL. Like I don't see how this offense just doesn't elevate for being there for 3 years. How often do you see a offensive coordinator as good as him stay for 3 seasons?
It doesn't happen. And that's, I guess, a combination of the situation and how young he is, because he's going to be in the NFL for so long. And I mean, just hit on the situation. He's in a very good situation. Great. He loves where he is, loves the city, loves the coach he works for. It's like perfect for him. So he's not under pressure to leave. And even some of these comments, which I think Silent makes a great point here. I didn't even think about this. Silent says, what makes y'all impossible is that y'all are so damn good at every personnel group. Most teams run mainly 11, but the Lions can run multiple and do them very well. I mean, the Lions can run 11, 12, 13, 21, 22. I mean, they have enough great players to just mix it up and be great in different situations. And again, to Ryan's point and what you just mentioned about the continuity, that matters too, because guys are, when you have contenders, unless the head coach is the play caller, usually then that helps. But if you just have great OCs, continuity is not really there because those guys are being hired pretty consistently. I mean, look at Shane Steichen to Brian Johnson, who was their offensive coordinator this past season. It looked completely different. They regressed and they got rid of him. So that happens. And they've had Ben Johnson, which I think Ben will be one scary head coach. He's going to be very good. I know people bring up the leadership stuff. Dude, if you're as good of an OC as he is, you can lead men. I mean, those guys listen to him. You know what I mean? Like he obviously has the leadership. His message gets across to the players. And like, so I think that's a little overstated in my opinion, just because we have like macho Dan Campbell. People try to compare Ben to him and like, oh, he's not a leader. Like, no, there's different styles of leadership. We've all been around different leaders. I lead differently than you lead, Booner. There's always different styles. And I think Ben's style will absolutely translate to a head coach. I think he'll be very, very good, in my opinion. Got to have the right situation, just like any head coach. If you go to a terrible team, it's going to be harder to dig them out. But I think Ben will work in most situations, obviously.
Yeah.
And he's going to make sure he's in a good situation. So that's incredible. It's going to go, he mentioned OC, but one day it's going to be one of the hardest head coaches to prepare for, in my opinion. Very detailed, he's very, very detailed guy. I mean, Tom says, imagine if Andy Reid retires and Ben Johnson goes to the Chiefs, the NFL would be over.
Oh my gosh, that would be. There's no way that happens though. I don't think right now.
That would be the perfect. Like he would wait for that. I'll tell you that. Probably
I think it's like it shows. It does show like the fact that he hasn't left yet in the past 2 seasons. Like after 2022, it felt like he had any position he wanted to, and then he ends up staying. It was like breaking news in Detroit. Like there's no way the number 1 head coaching candidate in the NFL came back. And then you go to the NFC Championship game, and again, the number 1 head coaching candidate, he goes out there and meets with all these teams, and then all of a sudden he's like, no, I'm staying again. Like I feel like it's unheard of for that to happen. Like you do not see that nowadays because the NFL head coaching job is such like there's only 32 of those jobs, and same with the OCs, but like that's the top of the top here in the game of football is the NFL head coach. And the fact that he's able to he has the control to say, hey, no, I don't want to do it this offseason, back-to-back off seasons. I think that's like some respect. And it is crazy what Washington did to him, kind of putting out there and trying to slander in his name too. That was ridiculous.
Jeff Olson says, I actually think the Lions offense will take a step back this year. The loss of Jonah Jackson will be felt.
Oh, you mean the upgrade of Zeitler?
Yeah, I would understand Jeff's point to some extent if they just put Colby in there instead of Kevin Zeitler.
That just feels weird. They upgraded at the position.
Yeah,
cheaper.
I don't think that's true because they upgraded. And I think
he has to be trolling.
I think Jonah's good. Don't get me wrong. I know people have a tendency to trash guys when they leave the Lions, but when they're here, people love them. Like I think he's good, but Kevin Zeitler is very good as well. I'm not as like they're gonna. If you want to bring up a step back, you probably point to I mean, even though I don't agree, but maybe
say it. Josh Reynolds leaving, wide receiver room.
Oh, that's where you're going with it.
Where were you going?
Well,
on the offense, a step back.
No, I don't think the offense will take a step back. I was going to go maybe defensively, but they can't really take.
I thought we were talking just offense. That's why I was say it.
Yeah,
the only thing you could say is probably the wide receiver room.
That's true. I'll give you that. If you had to pick one, but that's if JMO I guess doesn't work out. I mean, yeah, that would.
I don't think you could say offensive line. I don't think you could say
no.
I think it has to be the wide receiver room. That's it.
Yeah, you're right. In defense, they get better every position. So yeah,
I think that was my argument too last week when we were having the conversation about making a move. Is to me the only move that's to be made or can be made is the wide receiver room. So I don't think there's anything to it, or I think that's about it.
Let's see. Well, actually,
let's get this out of the way so we continue doing the show here.
Yeah, well, let's
go. Let's get this in and out here.
All right, let's whoa. All right, let's get an
You know,
update
man.
from Mr. Klotzy here. He's enjoying it. I would say 4th of July, but now it's like we'll call it the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th of July. This man's on a bender.
His vacation.
Let's welcome in Lukas Klotz. Lucas, how you doing?
Fellas, can you hear me all right?
We can hear you.
Hey, we're not getting me in and out of anywhere, Booner. You better pause it. How we been, fellas? How we been?
We're doing a show over here. We're doing good.
Hey, I asked for a link to be dropped. You didn't have to. A link was dropped, so I'm gonna come
You look
through.
beautiful too, by the way.
Thank you. Nice glow.
Yeah,
Nice
Klotzy,
glow.
Klotzy, what's been up with you, my man? How you enjoying? What's going on?
You know, I'm hanging in there. Got a late start to the day today, but the last 3 days been a great time. 4th of July. It's Pop's birthday, Grandma's birthday, so it's just a bunch of rednecks, a bunch of Italians just doing redneck shit.
Where's your drink?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll get it for you. This
Chug
one's for you
something
guys.
for
Here, got the old, won't sponsor, but
What
good
is
old Bush
this?
latte.
Yeah, no free. Oh, what?
What is that? What is it? You got to explain it to us.
We got a deagle
You
going
spill that
on.
to it.
Wait, what the? Wait.
Pour it in
What
here.
the- It's
Pour that
the
up.
most American thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, what is this?
Somebody get a time clock on me. I've been
All
trying
right,
to one
ready?
up
I'll
myself.
count out loud.
All right, let me know when, Boone.
Hey, I'll count when you go. Wait,
All right,
actually, don't
3.
go yet. Don't go yet. Hold on. I'm gonna get a
All right.
legit time clock here.
What the fuck is? All right.
3, 2, right. Whenever you go.
Gee, I mean, this guy. This is true Toledo stuff. Oh, wow.
Dunzo,
Wow.
fellas.
Wow. I mean, that was 5 seconds.
5 seconds on the dot.
That's
Got
about
Good job,
how,
Klotz.
earlier.
how long, Lucas. How long, Lucas?
I'm proud of you, Klotzy.
Yeah.
I miss you, fellas. Miss the chat. Miss everybody. I was just watching the stream and I felt like I was missing out. I want to come chat with the
No,
boys for a
hey,
second.
we want to do a Klotzy check-in, all right?
This is a
Yeah,
good,
and
that was a good update.
Whoever in the chat was running their mouth about Jonah Jackson being a downgrade. Come on now. Kevin Zeitler, the hog volley in the middle next to Frank. No downgrade. No downgrade.
What
there.
was that? What was the nickname?
The hog mollies?
Never heard of that before.
The hell is that?
I don't
You've
know.
never heard that term before?
This man's been in the
Hog
country for like
mollies up
3
front
days.
moving. Yeah. It's like a football.
Might be like the
nickname.
pay dirt.
Same type of thing, Boone. Same type of thing, but it's just for linemen.
Peter slept on the
Hog mollies.
Pater. Never thought it was a term. Never thought it was a term.
Oh, you
Learn something
learn
new
new
every
things.
day.
Hey, what did we learn today, Klotzy? Remember what I said? What did we learn today?
What's that?
How to spell birth.
Yeah, dude, I wouldn't even have. I didn't even know that there was a difference. I
Yeah.
didn't even know there's a birth with a BERF or.
Yeah,
see,
about-
I can't even do it.
30,000 people that looked at that post didn't either, besides one person. So
It's all right, Boone. It's all right.
You know what, Klotz? Well, enjoy it.
You're a legend.
You're going to be doing this all weekend? You're not even done?
Tomorrow morning. I was driving my car this morning and my rear brake started scraping. So I was like, you know what? Should probably get that fixed. So I'm gonna fix those up. Have some fun doing that with the boys here, and then I'll be heading home. Good
All
4
right.
days though. Good 4 days.
There you
You
go.
fellas are gonna have to come out next year though. That's for sure.
Oh, hell yeah. I want
Oh,
to be
yeah.
a part.
We gotta find a different weekend to do it this week. Or this year.
Yeah, I saw some footage from what's been going on with you over there in
Good
Cleveland.
times. Good
Yeah,
times.
we got to attend, Klotzy.
Alrighty, fellas.
Hey, you look beautiful too. Still.
Thanks.
Hey,
folks.
Nate, what do you think the Lions' offense will rank this year? If I said they were 5 according to an outlet, where do
They'll
you
be
think that-
5.
you think
I don't know.
that's fair?
I think the Chiefs are going to be 1. Maybe Dolphins, just because I think they could have a shit ton of production. But I think Chiefs, Dolphins, Niners will still be up there. But even if they lose Ayuk, I still think they'll be fine. Chiefs, Dolphins, the Lions might even be top 4. To be honest, I know I'm forgetting an offense.
Klotz, what if I tell you this? Statistically, the last 2 years they went from 4th to 3rd. Do they move up again for another year in 2024?
Is that in total offense?
Total offense? They went from 4th
No,
in 2022
and,
to
again, do
3rd.
they have the ability to? Yeah, but I think this comes back to the whole defensive discussion. You know what I mean? Like they're just gonna. I think they're gonna be so much. They're gonna be so much better on defense. I think they've always been a run-first team, and this is gonna be the year they have the most success on the ground. So that's gonna take the ball out of Jared more. And obviously, if you're running the ball, it's hard to put up and keep up with the teams like Miami and KC.
Hey, if Gibbs takes a jump, like you said, that's a lot of yards right there alone.
Mhm.
It's a
Yeah,
lot
but
of
you
yards
compare that
alone.
to like a whole receiving core down in Miami or something like, you know what I mean? Like Jalen and Tyreek can combine for 200 yards in one game, and that's damn near 2 games for Jameer.
I'm interested to see what they had last year. The Dolphins.
Yeah, I think they'll be top 4. I think that's a good spot to put them. Because again, they're not going to be climbing back in as many games, but
400 yards per
Houston's
game.
going to be up there.
The Dolphins were number 1 in the NFL last year with 400. The 49ers were second with 398, and the Lions were third with 394. So they were about.
I just think production-wise, Chiefs will overtake the Lions. I think Patrick Mahomes, MVP type of year. He's got 3 solid wide receivers: Travis Kelce, Pacheco. They lost a little bit on defense. I'll give them that, but that's only going to help them out on the offense side of the ball production-wise.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, Klotzy, you get out there.
Fellas.
I have another drink.
Oh, we're cracking open the Jameson here in a second, Boone. Lighting off some fireworks, and I think we're going to do a movie on the side of the house. A little projector.
There we go. Action. What a night, dude. I'm getting off here. I'm getting off here going to watch the Suit show and going to bed and working in the morning.
Hey, I watched the first episode.
Great show. Great show.
Suits?
Yeah, all time.
Interesting. All right.
All righty, boys. You got a great
Klotzy.
show. Lock in. Love you, fellas. Love you all in the chat. Catch you next week.
Love you, Klotzy.
This guy's a true American legend.
God bless Klotzy.
Just represents.
I'm kind of jealous. The week that he's had, I'm a little like, man, I wish I could have gone to Klotzy's this week.
Let's welcome in. Let's welcome in Michael Gentry. Michael Gentry's chilling. And speaking of shows, Michael got me into Power, and I've been watching Power. Great show, Mike. It's legendary, Mike. I can't even deny it. I'm locked.
Yeah, that's the best show ever, dude. Lukas, man, he's an animal. I'm glad I got here right as that started going off. Lukas is a man. I wish the boys could be there to join them. But chat, how we doing, boys? You fellas got some sun, Jeff.
Yeah, Mike. I'm not gonna lie to you.
You turned into Boone. You got all burnt.
I'm not gonna lie to you, Mike. I talked shit. I was talking shit last week.
Good, don't I? Huh?
I told you I don't use sunscreen. No sunscreen. I paid for it yesterday. But
I never use sunscreen, dude. I'm all out on sunscreen. Use it.
No, I'm believing it.
I get burnt. I've said it before. I get burnt once, and I think and you guys are Italian as well. I think it's the Italian in me. I get like the genes that I got is I'm pale. I don't know if that's like a different part of my family. I don't know. But then when I get burnt, I just get super burnt, and then like 2 days later, I'm tan, and then I will never get burnt again the rest of the summer. I can go outside and stand out there for another 20 hours, and I just won't get burnt. It'll just get tan.
No, that's how I am too. I'm pale as hell for 90% of the year, and then once I get burnt that one time, that'll kick it off, and then I'll be tan until I'm pale again.
I love it. It's the best.
Well, fellas, now that we got the Klotzy update, welcome in Michael Gentry. The PFF had these, which I thought this to me was worth the conversation. They did best NFC position groups.
Oh, this is crazy.
5 of the 6 are the 49ers, and I'll go through for people that are listening. They have it's best NFC position groups. They have running backs with an S, by the way. Receiving corps, offensive line, defensive line, linebackers, and secondary. That's all the rankings here. And they put the line. I mean, this okay. Just like look at this. Okay, running backs. We'll start with running backs. We'll work our way down. I get they have Christian McCaffrey. I understand.
I have a counter already with the running backs.
Okay, go ahead, Boone. Take it away.
I think you could argue the Detroit Lions have the best running back group in the entire NFL, not just the NFC. Am I great? Like, would you guys disagree with?
I think that should be universally known, to be honest.
Yeah, I went and I pulled the numbers. Like, okay, who do you have? Who would you count there in San Fran? You probably count Christian McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell, right?
Right.
I went there. All right. What do the numbers look like for these guys? Regular season, they combined for 2,300 yards, 2,318 to be exact, and 23 touchdowns. The Detroit Lions running back crew, Gibbs and DeMont, 2,393 yards, more total yards, more total touchdowns. They had 24 touchdowns to the 49ers, 23 touchdowns. This isn't rushing as a whole, but this is their top 2 running backs, our top 2 running backs. Who would you rather have, and who was more productive? The Detroit Lions running back room was more productive than their whole running back room. Like, that's just a fact. And then I was like, all right, you know what else I looked at? Boy, I said, let me look at the postseason. They beat them out in the postseason too. The Detroit Lions did. It's like this running back room. Like, I'm taking, this might be a hot take. Give me Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery over just Christian McCaffrey on his own. Like, I think that duo there, you have a 1-2 punch that it can help stay healthy. Like, Christian McCaffrey was healthy last year, but how much in his NFL career has he missed games because he's been the one back and he's just out there getting beat up? Yeah, when he's out there, he's great, but you have D-Mont and Jahmyr Gibbs, a 1-2 punch that do both things extremely, extremely well. It might be biased. I don't know, but I
don't think that's really that biased or that's a hot take. You have two good running backs over one, and Christian McCaffrey, even though we know how great he is, he has battled some injuries too. But the duo of Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery is going to even take a step forward this year, and they showed how great they can be last year. So I don't think that's a hot take whatsoever, and that's definitely not biased. I think if there's one position group that's still slept on outside of all the position groups for the Lions, it's those running backs. Like they are the best duo in the league, and that's not a doubt to me.
Yeah, it's hard because I think Christian McCaffrey's, and we all would agree. I'm not saying no, but he's the best back, and then there's a space bar, and then you get to like everyone else. But the term says running backs. So we're talking about the running back room, which you have two guys that almost combined it for 2,000 yards. It's like just rushing. That's quite the running back room. I know they have Elijah Mitchell, and Elijah had he had some good before Christian got there. He was okay, but they played him a little bit when Christian was out. I think he missed like a game or two. Now I don't know about this past season, but it might have been the last 2 years, and he was not good, at least from what I remember. So the Elijah stuff, I don't even know. I would give the slight edge to the Lions, but that I don't hate it either way because I understand it from both arguments.
Yeah.
I do. I really do. Because Christian,
I don't think it's crazy to say that.
No, I don't either. I think it's close. I mean, you go to receiving corps, I think we'd all agree. I mean, just in terms of what they have, yeah, I would give it to the 49ers. I don't know if you guys disagree with that or not.
I think if Brandon Ayuk leaves, I would switch it to maybe.
I would agree with that.
Philly.
I was gonna say, like, even straight up, I might like the Eagles. I know a few people have mentioned it in the chat too.
Actually,
their top two is better than I think.
Devontae Smith, AJ Brown. I'm taking them over Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah,
I'm taking the Bears.
Oh, that's a good one, Jeff.
I'm still taking the Eagles over the Bears.
I don't know, dude. I think
Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Rome.
Take Rome out of it as well. Keenan Allen is very, very underrated. And number two, DJ Moore is extremely underrated because he plays for the Bears. I honestly might take the Bears.
But are we taking? Because tight end, they got Cole Kmet. He's a pretty good tight end.
I don't think tight ends count, do they?
Tight end.
I guess not. I mean, do they have tight ends on here?
If they don't,
I don't know if they're including him or not. But let's just take them out of it. Man, they got some good receivers. I mean, say what you want about the Bears. They have receivers.
I think
good ones.
Even this, like ETN.
Yep. Seahawks and Rams, two good ones too.
Yeah, I would get. You know what? I agreed with all what ETN said. I think there's a couple teams that are better than the 49ers, in my opinion.
I think when you make these graphics, and I know there's a thing where we do complain where they kind of do things for clicks all the time. I think this is one to where you could mix this up a little bit. Like you didn't have to go all like maybe they went all 49ers just to get clicks and get other places or fan bases mad. You easily could have gone a different receiving room here. Easily. Like you easily could have gone the Bears. Like
Dolphins, like Dad would try. I mean, are you just gonna forget those two? I mean,
well, the Dolphins. This is NFC. They're AFC.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, you're right. You're
right. Jeff,
lock in over there. Picks the Bears.
Yeah. Well, I even the Eagles, I think is fair. Seahawks. There's a couple teams you can point to. Yeah, pretty good.
The Bucks with Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. I think Mike Evans is underrated.
Yep. I know people didn't like that Bears one.
I'm with you on that one. Honestly, I'll back you on that.
Brought it up. Maybe I was the wrong one to bring that one up. But you can't deny they have receivers. Now, what they do with it in the offense, who knows? But they have receivers. So
I tried to text Klotzy to figure out what this thing was, this contraption that he drank out of. He's not texting me back. I'm very interested in this contraption.
I didn't know.
I can't stop thinking about this.
I really.
I thought he said it was like an eagle or something, but
dude, I don't know. I'm just if he's watching, text me. I want to know
freedom. I mean, that's
bring it home.
It's drinking freedom.
Take it from his brothers.
Yeah, I mean that's what it was.
Man, straight freedom.
Yeah. Well, offensive line. He's not really a discussion. I mean, we're going to leave it there.
Yeah.
Defensive line.
Could you say the Eagles?
I might lean Eagles.
I think potentially you could go
might
Eagles.
Lean Eagles. I don't. I would give the 49ers the one below. Linebackers, I would give them that. But defensive line, I might even go Eagles. I mean,
Bryce. Oh, yeah.
Bryce Huff, Jordan Davis,
Josh Sweat.
Sweat. They
had Jalen Carter.
Jalen Carter. Yeah,
they do. They did lose a couple guys, but I think that's still. I think I would go Eagles. What? This is ridiculous.
Oh yeah, this is off season. I was gonna say because that Eagles offensive line struggled or defensive line struggled kind of last year. So I would still stick to the 49ers if we're basing it off of last year. But I mean, off season rankings, I don't know. That Eagles D line is going to be good this year.
Even Giants should be up there, man. I said it the other day, man. Giants. Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence, and Kayvon, they're up there. I don't know if you maybe number one. I'd probably lean Eagles because they have two really good defensive tackles.
Who would you guys go for secondary? That's my interest. I'm interested in that one.
Okay, so this one, little more of a convo. I mean, there's probably a couple teams you could point to and make an argument for. I know the 49ers, they have Tufonga and Ward. Like they have some good players. I don't think they're the best secondary, personally. I mean, we have to go on paper, I guess, because there's some teams that remodeled their secondary, like the Eagles, Lions. Like they all kind of. I don't care about the chemistry. I'm just going on paper right now.
The Seahawks could put them in the conversation.
The Eagles got Quinyon and Cooper DeJean, but obviously we addressed our secondary as well in the draft. Yeah. But I don't know about any like two big name free agents. I mean, you could say the Packers, like Silent said in here. McKinney.
Packers.
Bears. I'll say it. The Bears have a good secondary.
Yeah.
I like that. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago, actually, when we were ranking the NFC North secondaries. And I put the Bears, I think, number one. I think the Bears.
Is it bad to say I don't think there's one secondary that like stands out amongst the rest? Like I think they're all in the same like tier. Like I think the Lions and all these teams are kind of in like the same like maybe you rank them differently in the tier, but I don't think there's like like defensive line we kind of had like Eagles or we point like I don't think there's really a team like that for the secondary. I think there's just a bunch of like I would go Seahawks maybe. I like their secondary.
I do like the Seahawks. I think the thing with the Seahawks secondary, like ETN put it in there, they have potential. I think it's just because they're so young and they've drafted and they let go a couple guys. They let go a couple older guys, but the young guys that they have in that secondary are like elite. Like they have a chance to be elite in the NFL. Yeah,
the best secondaries in the NFL is the best secondary in the NFL is in the AFC. I mean So the NFC is a little. That's why I mentioned it's kind of a little more tougher. Yeah,
it's an interesting conversation. I don't think though, like PFF, it is like we use their graphics all the time, and obviously on socials and stuff to our advantage as Lions fans. But I do think like having the 49ers in 5 of the 6 categories is ridiculous.
That's glazing.
Right. Like what are we doing here?
We're glazing.
Are there any categories outside of running backs, Boone, that you think the line should have been up there for?
Running backs, offensive line. If we're just talking
offensive line.
I think those are the only two that you can maybe really make an
secondary.
Argument for.
They should be in that conversation.
Yeah. Oh! I didn't even think of defense. You know what? If Jack Campbell ends up being really good this year, I think linebacker. Like I think after the end of this season, don't be surprised if the Detroit Lions end up having the best linebacking core in the NFC. And I know there are some names and some dudes out there, but if you do think about it, Anzo, like people are saying Anzo, and he even had that interview where he had the question, do you think you can be an All-Pro? Because they were saying AG thinks he can, and he was like, yeah, I think so. And like if you're talking about an Anzo All-Pro jump, also people are talking about a Jack Campbell Pro Bowl All-Pro jump. So if Jack Campbell and Anzo make that jump, and then I don't think Derek Barnes is that bad. Like for him to be your like third best linebacker, I think that's like a really good room. I stand by my statement. If Derek Barnes makes that sack on Dak Prescott in the end zone, Detroit fans think a lot different of him. You got like he had the game-winning catch to go to the NFC Championship too. So interception.
Well, we're gonna do something today. It's Friday. We're gonna have some fun here. We're gonna do our own power ranking, our own power ranking for NFL teams. Mike, you joined at the perfect time because
tiers.
I was wondering what the fuck this was.
We're doing tiers.
We're gonna do tiers here. We're gonna do them as a group. Chat. Feel free. We'll have any tiebreakers. Chat will be on. We'll get involved here. We have 5 tiers. We have Super Bowl favorite, Super Bowl contender, playoff team missing the playoffs, and number 1 pick bound, meaning they're in contention to be in that high of draft pick as possible next year, whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. So we have 5 different tiers here. We're going to rank every NFL team and which tier we feel like they deserve to be ranked in. So this is something different, but I think this is we're going to do this more with like different things, whether it's ranking tight ends, whatever it is. We'll usually use this, but we'll start. What do you guys want to start with? Like, we'll start at the top and go down.
Yeah, just go left to right from the top. Start with the Bengals and then move right.
Well, I just think right away we just throw the Super Bowl favorites up there and just go like 49ers, Lions.
Oh,
Chiefs.
You know what? Like, well, we could do what Mike said. Like, go from the team, so teams are popping everywhere.
Left to right from the team. Start Bengals,
you can do that,
Patriots, Saints.
You know what? That might be better.
Organic.
Or exactly. We could start. Okay, so we might
Super Bowl contender.
So
and if we need to add another,
you don't start. You just start with the team and you put them wherever. You don't start by a category.
What are you talking about? I'm saying Super Bowl contender Bengals.
Like he's putting them.
Okay.
Would you disagree with that, Mike? I would probably.
And if we need to add another category, I told Jeff we could just add one. If people are like, we need to, like, if we end up getting like a bunch in one category and we're like, we have to split guys up, we can make that adjustment.
So Bengals,
I like these categories. Boom, good job.
This is Jeff.
Good job, Jeff.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. Boone did help though. Boone did help.
It's all right.
We had to iron some things out. We were a couple minutes late to the show. That was on me. But
Jeff wanted to do 3 tiers. I was like, whoa, bro.
Four.
We need tiers here.
I did 4.
I knew you had some.
I wanted 6 tiers.
Yeah.
We settled on 5. A lot of
too
negotiating going on.
Regardless. Okay, boys. All right, lock in. Bengals. Super Bowl contender. Boone, you say, Mike, you disagree with that?
No, I agree. That's where I would put him as well.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that as well. I think they're Super Bowl contender, not quite Super Bowl favorite, but definitely contender. The New England Patriots.
I'm just gonna put them in that bottom list. They are
number 1 pick for sure. I do shout out for them, like the Drake May thing. I almost am on that side to where Klotzy was like, just take Marvin Harrison and then get your quarterback next year, because now that we like are looking at it, they're for sure going to have a chance at the number 1 pick. They're for sure. Right. Yeah, like looking back, I don't know if they'll get the number 1 pick, but they're going to be in contention come down the stretch.
I think I like Drake May.
Not right away. Come on now, put him in the number 1 pick, Bond.
No. I agree with you guys, but that's the whole like, or taking Marvin Harrison or like Drake May. I just think if you love a quarterback, you take him. But they're going to stink. I agree with you. So I agree with you. Number 1 pick bound. They're going to stink. 2 easy ones. New Orleans Saints.
I'm going to do missing the playoffs.
Really?
So Mike's vote is missing the playoffs. Oh,
see, this is where. All right, Jeff. This is where I was saying we need another category.
No, this is good.
I don't think they're missing. Like, I don't like missing the playoffs. I think
then what are they doing if they're not missing?
I'm just trying to figure out this. Like, a playoff team's like a 9 to 12 win team,
which would be playoff team,
or 9 to 11 win team. I think they're at like 7, 8, and that's missing playoffs. I just think they're below it. Like, they're just like right, like. What's gonna happen is they're gonna be on the same tier as the Giants or maybe like a team like that, and I don't like that. I think the Saints are better than
you think the Giants are gonna just miss the playoffs?
I think we just need another tier, but we do missing the playoffs.
I see what you mean, Boom, but
there's like an average
tier. We're not getting judged on it like that.
Hey, ask Booner to critique something. I'm critiquing.
I know.
That's an average football team. They're gonna be like a 7, 8 win team. They'll miss the playoffs.
Yeah, that's. I agree with that. And again, missing the playoffs, you're on point. That would be like a 7, 8 win team. They're not making the cut. If you think they'll win more than that, then you put them in playoff. I agree with you, Boone. I think they'll be like 6, 7 wins. I think they'll be mid. So they'll miss the playoffs if you're mid.
They should be in between miss the playoffs and number 1 pick bound. That's where they should be.
Well, number 1 pick bound, I don't mean 0 and 17. Like, that's like 0 to like 4 wins, and 5 to like 7 would be like you're missing the playoffs. Like you're not good enough. You know what I mean? Like, or does that make sense? Like, we can't have a tier for like 4 wins. Like, we have to have it's like a grouping. Like, number 1 pick bound means you're like bottom of the standings. Missing the playoffs is like 5, 6 to like 7, 8 wins. Playoff teams,
missing
like
the playoffs
9,
is good.
You know what I mean? So I agree with you. I think they're missing the playoffs. What about the Pittsburgh Steelers?
This is tough.
Playoff team. You guys can put them in missing playoffs all you want. Like they're not. This is where I
don't
they're
understand.
A playoff team. Because what's going to happen? I think they're a wild card team, so I think they're a playoff team. But you guys are going to put missing the playoffs. They're nowhere. Like I think they're better than the Saints.
So how many games would they have to win to miss the playoffs?
8, 9. They'll miss the playoffs with 9 probably.
Yeah. So that's.
But I think they're a playoff team. I think they win 10+ games. I think they win 10 games.
You want to just add a fringe?
What do you? No, you guys have to give your take on this because then if you guys are different,
we're gonna get a lot of this every time we do.
I was gonna say add them in because my prediction the other day was
put them in the playoffs. Just put them in the playoffs.
Yeah, just put fringe playoff team.
Just put average and put that below missing the playoffs.
I'll do fringe. How about that?
No. Do average and put that below missing the playoffs is the fringe. Average is below missing the playoffs. And put the Saints in average.
Average, okay. We'll make this one. We'll just turn this into like I don't know what color we should do here.
All right, this is good. This is good, dude. My brain.
But what I was gonna say,
you guys know how
what I was gonna say is I was gonna put the Saints or the Steelers as a playoff team because I already said the other day that another team from that division is gonna miss. So
you can move the Steelers down to average too.
I can move them to average. All right, sweet.
No, the Steelers, not the Steelers, the Saints. I'm sorry.
Okay, average.
That's what I'm gonna do.
I'll go. So, what do you think? That division, the AFC. I think they missed the playoffs. So I'm gonna. That's where I'm at. I don't know. What'd you guys think?
I think a playoff team.
Mike.
I think playoff team as well.
Okay. They're 2-1. We'll put them in playoffs. Playoff team. San Francisco 49ers. I mean, I just think they should either be here.
Favorite.
Yeah, just put them in the top.
I think there's 4 in the favorite. I think they're one of them.
So, the Cardinals.
I would go number 1 pick bound again. I could be crazy.
Yeah, I would go average.
Yeah, you would average as well. I don't think they're going to be that bad, but I think they will be.
I think when Kyler came back, they won like 3-4 games, and that was immediately. So I think they'll be average. And they had a worse roster last year.
Okay, that's fine then. Yeah, let's do average at that 2-1 there.
I think they'll just be. I guess what would you qualify average? Like 4 wins to 6.
That's what I was thinking, like 6 wins.
I mean, yeah. So I'll just do that. I think they'll be like that. 5 to 7, whatever you want to do. I think they'll be there. The Falcons.
I would go playoff team, but in front of the Steelers. Like I would put them in front of the Steelers. I think they're a better football team than the Steelers. I think they have a chance to actually win a playoff game.
I think they're a playoff team as well. Easy division. I think Kirk does pretty well. Playoff team.
We don't have to rank them, I guess, in order, but
that's my question because we're gonna post this on our socials after. And if there's someone in the chat that's done these before, are people gonna if we have them in order? Because I've seen people put them in order across the side. Are there gonna be people who are like, why do you have this guy in front of this?
I guess we could. It's just
a genuine question because we're gonna get killed. We'll get killed on social if we don't do it.
They can suck my dick. I really don't care. We'll just live.
I'm asking the people. I want the people's feedback. We need to know here, so we do it.
You guys. I mean, respond. What do you think? I mean, I don't think it matters. I'm
going to post this on our social this weekend.
All right. Well, we'll get to the Ravens. The Ravens. I think they're a contender.
Super Bowl contender. Yeah, I think they're right there. Right there with the Bengals.
I see the chat. I think that guy up north. Ravens contenders.
Yep.
Yep. I see silent contender. All right. We'll put him in contender. The Bills. Okay. You know what? Here you go, Boone.
Do you guys want me to say it?
Don't do it, Boone.
I'm going to say playoff team, but in front of the Falcons. Like they're a high-level playoff team. I think they're ahead of the Falcons, so I would put them. If I said, let's put them in front of the Falcons.
So we are ranking them.
Yeah,
No,
let's
I don't
rank
think it
them
really
in the thing.
matters.
I think the Cardinals are in a good spot. They're a fringe number 1 pick average, so I think they're in a good spot. I think we're good right now.
Well, then we have to change. Are we going to change the Ravens and Bengals? Do you think the Bengals will win more games than the Ravens?
I think the Bengals. I'd put the Bengals in front of the Ravens too.
See, now we gotta have like another debate.
No one's
that.
gonna judge
You
it off of you ranking it left or right.
I think they will.
Don't, because now we're gonna debate about the ranking now. Like
I just we can leave it. If you think the Ravens
are
in front,
we're doing way too much. Just put them in the row. That's all that matters. That's all I care about.
We're gonna have different debates within the debates. You know.
All right, but I'm gonna do. Even though I'm hating on Josh, we're moving on. Right. We're just putting them in the row, Boone. Don't overcomplicate it.
I mean,
all right. I'm putting the Bills, even though I'm praying on their downfall for other reasons. They're still going to be a playoff team. I hope they miss the playoffs, but I'll put them in the playoff team.
Well, okay, we'll go playoffs because it's 2-1. So
I hope they miss. I hope they miss.
We can just go in here. We'll put them in front, Boone. There you go. We'll just to make everything look right. All right, Panthers, they're up. I mean, that team's going to win. They're going to win probably one.
They should be dead last.
Yeah, so just put them here. I mean, we don't need to think too much about that. All right, the Bears are up. You know what?
I'm going to go miss the playoffs.
Yeah, missing.
But they're like a high end. Like they should be in the middle of playoff team and missing the playoffs. Like I think a high end miss the playoffs.
Missing the playoffs as well.
I can agree with that. I can agree with
Jeff.
that.
Oh, okay.
Was
that what you thought?
Like 8-9 wins. I think that's about right.
I think that's.
Were you just overruled, Jeff, or were you? Was that actually what you thought?
No, that was my answer. Okay.
Missing the playoffs. I think that's a potential wild card team. I think the playoff team category is a wild card, so that's where I'll
go. All right. Cleveland Browns.
Missing the playoffs.
Oh,
missing the playoffs.
Yeah, because we got to see. We just put the Steelers up there and the Bengals. So
I'm going to go missing the playoffs too, behind the Bears.
This was my prediction the other day, so I had to put the Steelers in.
All right, I'll agree with you guys. I think they missed the playoffs too. Do you want to? Are we doing the? Do you want to change this, or what are we doing?
Yeah, just put them. I would put them behind the Bears.
Okay, because I gotta. We'll just do it, Mike. We'll just do it.
I mean, it's not that big of a deal if we just do it. Like, I don't think. It's
I know, but no one's gonna notice.
I'm the one putting it on social, so I would if we do it that way.
Fair. That's fair.
People are gonna comment.
All right.
Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
Playoff team.
Yeah, they're a playoff team.
Put them at the top of the playoff teams. They're not a Super Bowl contender. They haven't won. When was the last time they won a playoff game?
You're putting them at the top of the playoff teams?
Yeah, above the Bills.
I think the Falcons are better than them.
Ooh, Booner.
Wow.
Booner, so I actually disagree with that.
So put the Falcons at the top and put the Cowboys in between Bills and Falcons.
So they would be
right in the mid. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fair.
I think the Falcons are. Honestly, I would even go. They missed the playoffs, but you guys, overruled. It's fine. We'll put them in playoffs.
I think there's a chance they miss, but like,
that's okay.
Wild card, yeah.
All right, so we have the Denver Broncos.
This
average. I would probably say average.
Bo Nix win maybe 6 games with them, or what? What are we thinking, huh? Yeah, no, they're going to be average. I mean, I don't really care where you rank these teams. I really don't give a shit. Just put them. I mean, just put them there. They'll be average. So I think we agree there. Detroit Lions, we don't have to waste any time. I mean, they should be up here.
Yeah.
All right.
Put them above the 49ers.
All right. We'll do, Boone. We'll do.
There we go.
All right. So the next, I don't think there's really much conversation there. Tennessee Titans.
I think they'll be average.
I think they win 7 to 8 games, so I'm going to go miss the playoffs. I think they get to 8 wins.
Where you at, Jeffrey?
This is just me, though.
I'm going to go average with Mike.
I'm
going to agree with Mike here. I'm going to go average.
Family, Jeff.
Yeah, I'll just put them there.
Put them above the Cardinals.
Or put them above the Cardinals. Fine, we'll do that. I really don't care. Whatever. I mean, whatever. You run in social, so it doesn't really matter to me. Green Bay Packers.
Playoffs.
Playoff team. What are you going to do? Don't say contender. Are you going to say contender?
Yeah, I'll go playoff team.
I think they're at the top of the playoffs. I think they're better than the Falcons. Like, they should be the number 1 playoff team.
So in the NFC, where would you say the Packers are ranked?
3rd or 4th, probably, right?
That's a contender.
I don't.
What, is that not? So. Is that not?
I think there's only 2 teams in the NFC that are. I think it's the 49ers and the Lions.
But they're favorites.
Who?
You know, like we have them as Super Bowl. Like they should be like no doubt contenders. You think there's more than just the favorites? You know what I mean? I don't know. That's where I'm at. You guys win. I mean, it's 2-1, but that's just where I was like thinking.
Let's go contender. Let's go at the bottom of contender. I'll switch to contender.
I say we give the tie to the chat. Let them pick.
What does the chat think? I mean, let's see, contender or pretender? I mean, or whatever. I mean, what are we doing? Playoff team or contender?
Playoff team.
Because I think they're better than all those playoff teams. You know, like I think they should be in the same breath as like Bengals, Ravens, in my opinion. But
I would put them at the back of the Super Bowl contender. I would say they're on the fringe. That's just what I got.
Yeah.
If I had to.
So we got what? 4 people playoffs, 1 contender. LFG.
Jeff
playoff,
put it twice.
playoff.
Oh no, that was ETN. You're right.
Playoffs.
Someone changed their answer to playoffs. Yeah.
I don't know here.
Playoffs.
I switched mine to contender if that means anything.
We'll let the chat. We'll let them pick the Packers. Screw it. If this will work, okay. We'll put them at the front of the playoff. It's fine.
We should just put them at the very bottom. We should.
All right.
Category.
Wait, what'd you say, Boone?
We should just give them their own category. At
just
the very
Packers.
bottom. Yeah, just Packers at the very bottom.
Yeah.
That's the Bears. Should have made a fuck the Bears one. Put them at the bottom.
We should just do FTB and FTP and just put them at the bottom, to be honest. That'd be funny.
We should have left them out, not included them.
Yeah, just
No
not.
Yeah, people would be like, where are they?
What about the Texans? Because, guys, I think the Texans should be a contender.
I would say Super Bowl contender.
Yeah, I don't know. I still think it's pretty early on for them, and I think they will keep moving towards that. But I don't know. I think you can, just based off of how well CJ Stroud played last year. Like, he's going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league. They kind of added some weapons on offense. So I think, and on defense, really. So, yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'll put them like right.
I think that's fair. Like, I think they're better than the Steelers and like the Cowboys and stuff. So I would put them.
Yeah, that's what kind of my thought process too.
Like, it's tough for me to put them.
All right, your guys is Colts. Lucas ain't here to defend it.
Average.
Mike was quick with that too. That man had it loaded already.
I know Klotzy's probably watching too. I'm gonna say they're at the very front of missing the playoffs.
What? This man said game or 2 from the division.
Yeah, but I think the AFC is just so good.
Like
the AFC is just so good, dude. The AFC is good. I think the AFC North gets 3 teams in. If they get 3 teams in there, that's 2 wild card teams right away. You only get how many wild card teams are there? 3? Man. That means like that's tough.
So
that's tough, dude.
Listen, I agree. You're talking.
I think they're a game or 2 out. I think they win maybe 9 games, and I think they're going to lose this division by 1 or 2 games, 10, 11 wins. And I think at 9, I think depending on tiebreakers and stuff, I think at 9 you miss the playoffs in the AFC. I think you need 10 wins to make the playoffs in the AFC. I think they might fall around 9.
All right, I'll agree with that.
Am I crazy for that?
No, I think it's just our time arguing, you and Lucas versus me, with the Colts. I think I'm like already.
I was pretty clear though with the take, saying that I think they're going to compete when it comes down the stretch, but I don't think they'll end up winning it.
Well,
Klotz's going to hate that. Oh man.
Well, this ties into my next thing. The Jags to me are a playoff team, and I was going to say you would have them missing the playoffs or average then. Boone.
No, I'd have them playoff team.
I think I'm gonna have them missing the playoffs. To be honest,
hold on.
Now I'm confused. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Colts will be in it for the game left.
I see what you're saying here. I've got myself in
all of a sudden second.
I've put myself in an absolute torture chamber with this one here, boys.
I don't know. We literally have argued about that. How I think it'll be the Texans and Jags over the Colts, and you're like, you and Lucas are like, no, Colts with a game left or game or two left. And now you're folding like a lawn chair? I mean,
I'm not folding. You should be happy. I'm starting to come to realize.
No, I am happy. I am happy.
This is a realization moment here. This is why we do these segments, for a little realization.
See, I agree with you. I do. I think
I don't know what to do here. I'm gonna torture.
What do you think, Mike? Sorry, I didn't hear.
I said they're missing the playoffs.
Missing? Okay, so playoff missing. You're the deciding factor, Boone.
Oh man,
Booner's got the pressure on his shoulders.
I'm gonna switch up here, I guess, and I'm gonna go back end playoff team.
Oh, we got Boone now. Okay, I agree with you.
That's tough, dude, because I like Trevor Lawrence. There's no way he has another bad year and he's injured. And if he's good, if he's back, he would.
I agree. You're like disappointed in yourself.
Put him behind the Bills, though, please. Thank you.
All right, behind the Bills, dude. I swear with this guy.
Chiefs, Super Bowl contender at the very front.
I think they should be favorites.
Yeah, at the very front.
Oh, you said contender.
Or yeah, that's what I mean. Favorite. I'm sorry. I apologize. You know what I meant.
Good. Yeah, we agree. There's not much to argue about there. What about Rams?
It's playoff team.
Playoff team. Yeah, I think that's fair. Sorry, ETN.
Yeah, I think they should be like honestly right here. I think they're like the best playoff team. I think they're up there in the playoff team.
I think it's the Rams Packers. I think that's a fair.
Like they're fringe. I mean, I don't know, boys.
They're not a Super Bowl contender, dude. They lost week 1 to the Lions in the wild card. They're not a Super Bowl contender. They're not. And they're not. And Jeff, I've been very high on the Rams, and I've stuck up for that defense. I've stuck up for that offense.
I would put them there, Boone.
They're not. Well, it's 2-1, so they're a playoff team.
All right.
I'm telling you.
I was thinking that too, like that they were.
No, they have a lot.
I didn't know if that was me being a Stafford slappy, and I kind of had the same thought of. They did get bounced by the Lions early, but Stafford's that guy, man.
You guys truly think they have a chance to win the Super Bowl this year? Like, truly?
I'm going to be honest.
I said playoff team, but I second guessed myself. Like I said,
it's not about they're a contender, like meaning what we have like the Texans and the Ravens. I think they can go toe to toe with any of these teams in contender.
The thing to me is like, I look at the Bengals. Can I see them winning the Super Bowl? Yes. Can I see the Ravens? Yes. Texans? Yes. Can I see the Rams? Like the year they won it, I could look at them and be like, yes, they're a contender. Are they like? Am I looking at that team and be like, oh, that's a Super Bowl roster. That's a Super Bowl team right there.
Okay.
No,
I think they're in a good spot right there at the front of the playoff teams.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Like the playoff teams they're not out of the race for a Super Bowl. I'm not saying they can't win the Super Bowl, but like the levels to it, I don't know if the Rams are at that level. Jeff Olson said the Rams are the second best team in the NFC.
You would have to do some reorganizing after you have over 14 playoff teams.
It's funny.
What do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah.
That's why I was saying that I think we need more tiers, because I was like, we're going to get stuck with like a bunch of teams in one category, and we're going to be in a tough spot. Like we should have like a wild card maybe under playoff team. I don't know.
But that's still a playoff team. You know what I mean?
Or we could do fringe
card.
Yeah, like fringe.
Not that big of a deal. All right, I'm going for the Chargers that they missed the playoffs. I think.
Yeah, I'm with you on that too.
They'll be a little bit above average. I think the year after they'll be up there, but they're gonna miss the playoffs.
Yeah, we've got a couple playoff teams left.
Yeah, I mean, we have we're about to basically as many as we have. We're about to have. I think we do 14. Yeah, is like the number. So we'll go miss the playoffs here, and we still have a bunch of teams. I'm gonna be honest. Well, that's where some of these
and move around. We could adjust.
Yeah, we'll adjust because like that's why the Steelers thing, like, and even some of these teams, it gets tough.
So let's do this. Let's finish this out with what we have, and then we can move some things around here. Let's just finish it out, and then we can move the Steelers to like fringe.
Right.
We get like
So
Dolphins playoff team.
Yep, I agree. They're probably like right here.
Yeah,
I'll put them in front of the Packers. They're like right there.
That's fair.
Vikings.
I think average. Yeah,
I think they'll be like
Super Bowl favorite. You see who the QB is.
Giants. I think. What do you guys think? Giants.
I think they'll be average.
Average. Okay.
Yeah, average meaning because they're not going to win 8-9 games missing the playoffs, but I think they'll win like 5. They can win like 5 games, 6 games.
Yeah,
I think they're like right here, maybe even like here.
I would even go low, but
yeah, if you want to go here, fine.
I think we can move the Broncos to number 1 pick bound.
Yeah, I think that's fair, honestly.
Yeah, we'll do that. Why not?
I'm trying to think of some teams that are going to be in that bottom 5 tier. Like, who's going to be the bottom 5 teams in the NFL? They're definitely in that.
All right, so we'll do Jets. Jets to me are a playoff team.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, no, I would say they're a contender because that's how they're built. Like they're built to win this year. You know what I mean? Like you can't say
they're a playoff team. And maybe that could change once we see how Aaron Rodgers is, if he's up to date and he's actually out there playing well and healthy. I don't know if I can call him a contender yet, even though they have a roster that's built to be a contender. We've seen what they are without Aaron Rodgers. So
yeah.
I agree with Mike. Raiders, I probably would just go average.
Yeah, we'll go like here, maybe even like here, maybe there.
You're high on the Raiders?
I mean, it's high. It's all average. I mean, it's like, okay, put them here.
High on them.
I mean, there are all these teams are going to win the same amount of games. That's why it's like, I mean, Seahawks.
I'd probably go missing the playoffs. I don't think they. Yeah, I don't think they make the playoffs. I do think they win 8 or 9 games, but they're just one of those teams that like. There's so many good teams in the NFL right now. The NFL is in a very good spot, and Seahawks are going to be a team that's just like. Fall short of it.
Well, we have what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams from the NFC. We have 1 spot, and that we have the Eagles and Bucks here.
So the Bucks are the playoffs, in my opinion. I think they improved from in the offseason. The Bucks improved this offseason.
Missed the playoffs.
Yeah, because you're gonna have to take someone out.
So this is what we're gonna have to. We have to add a wild card.
But that's still a playoff team. You know what I mean? Like you still have the same problem.
Yeah, but the one I sent you here, it had Super Bowl favorites, contenders, playoff teams, and wild card, and then they had like a bunch of teams in the wild card, which makes sense. It takes like who are the guaranteed and locks in the playoffs? Like I think the Bucks are going to be a wild card team. I do think they make it though. This is tough.
Demon, he says, stick to y'all day jobs with these rankings. Start a movie and music reaction channel.
Like I said, we're doing the most, but it's fun.
Yeah, like upset about some power rankings.
You just add in there, Jeff. Add wild card, and we'll move. We'll with the Bucks there, the Steelers there, the Jags there. We could put the Bills there. The Bills are probably a wild card team. And then, the other teams, the playoff teams, are teams that are competing for their divisions with the favorites. I think that's fair.
Okay. We'll do. We still have the same problem. We're gonna have to take a team out. Oh no, shit! This would be playoff team. Playoff team, and this is wild card.
Wild card.
Yes. I mean,
yeah, because put this. I would put, and I don't know where you guys are at with this. I would put the Steelers in wild card. I would put the Jags, the Bills. I know I like my Bills, but they're gonna all if they make the playoffs, it's probably gonna be Cowboys. Yeah, and I think those teams above there are probably competing for their. I think the Rams could compete for the division.
Yeah, I was gonna say wild card would mean you're not. I mean,
and I would even take like we could even go down and see missing the playoffs. I wouldn't be shocked if the Colts are in a wild card conference, or those teams are kind of wild card teams, in my opinion.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I mean, let's count 1, 2, 3, 4.
I don't think it has to be perfect. Wild cards in and out. Like some of those teams aren't going to make it, and some are going to be. I don't think it needs to be perfect.
We're also. I mean, okay. If we're gonna have over
the list.
Amount of
the list I sent you: wild card, playoff team, Super Bowl contender, and favorite they had like 22 total teams in it. So it doesn't matter. It's just more so like who's going to be competing for a wild card, who's going to miss the playoffs, who's below the playoffs in average, and who's the worst in the league. It makes sense. This is not that hard.
Yeah, I don't know why it's this hard.
It's not hard at all. You're just thinking like it has to be a perfect amount. It doesn't. Like who are wild card teams who are going to be contending for the wild card? Like when the graphic comes week 17, 18, what teams are going to be contending for that wild card spot? Steelers will be, Jags will be, Bills.
Yeah, fuck it at this point. We'll just keep it going. But Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What do we think?
Wild card.
All right. Yeah, I mean they could win their division, but yeah, we'll put them there.
I think the Eagles are our playoff team.
Yeah, I think the Eagles are Super Bowl contenders.
I would say Super Bowl contenders too.
That's actually fair, I think.
And then the Commanders, I think, will be average, if I'm being honest. Do you guys agree with that?
I agree with that.
So
I think this turned out really well, actually. I think the rankings is really good.
So yeah, I mean, this is kind of how we have it at this point.
Etienne says the Eagles are not above the Packers and the Rams. It's our first critique from a Rams fan.
I mean, I think they're all in the same tier. That's why I was saying earlier. I think the Rams and Packers are contenders. That's just my opinion, I guess. But
Zach says Jags over the Colts is pretty egregious. Not gonna lie.
I don't think it's that egregious. I really don't. I think they'll be around the same wins. So if you have, it's really pick your, what's your preference? I think the Jags will be better than the Colts.
I think there might end up might end up happening is the Jags and Colts are playing like week 17, 18, and the winner gets into the wild card, one of the final wild card spots. Like I wouldn't be shocked if that's like a scenario that comes up.
So
Silent says maybe put the Bengals in front or put the Bagels in favorite to have two AFC teams.
Honestly, I would rather put the Ravens there.
Yeah, I think there's.
I would agree.
Just not that because I'm high on Joe, but I'm talking about as a roster. They are like they got Derrick Henry now. Like the Bengals.
A defense.
Yeah, defense, and they have they lost Joe Mixon, which I get. Joe Mixon's not a world beater, but Chase Brown. I mean, that's who they got.
Tom says, I hate to say it, but the Packers are a legit contender.
Yeah, I mean, I would love it. If you have any, like Damon says, scrap the whole rankings. This was an epic botch job like Lions last year, Damon. Well,
Damon's just hating at this point.
No, I'm curious what Damon thinks. Like, what does he disagree with? I would love to know.
Be interesting.
We can talk about it.
I'm pretty sure he said something about the Ravens and the Lions, how the Ravens fucked the Lions up last year, and rightfully so. But
then they should be. I think they should be up there with the rest of it. Would you guys want to move there or no? Leave them.
We could make that move. You two both think that. That's 2-1.
Yeah.
I put them here. So there you go.
I think we need to find. I think one of these teams that are missing the playoffs, we could move into the wild card conversation. Like the Colt. Like I do think a couple of these teams. I don't know who we would move.
Yeah,
the Colts or the Browns. Like I think the AFC are going to have like so many teams that are in the hunt there that you're going to be like, oh man, here we go, boys.
I've seen this one pop up a few times, questioning the Falcons over the Bucks and the Bills.
My vote would be the Bills in the playoffs, but no one. I'm a solo horse on that one here.
That's probably a one bias pick a little bit, but
I'm solo on that one.
What? Which one?
The Bills in the playoffs.
Bills.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, hey, I think Mike agreed with you, so you won the 2-1 battle there. But it's one spot. I'd have them missing, but it's not that big of a difference.
Raiders and Giants are first pick bound.
I think the Giants, personally, like if I that would have been my vote is the Giants the number 1 pick bound. I don't think anything comes out of the Giants. Like outside of that defense, Daniel Jones. Saquon's gone.
Man, that's gonna be tough.
Who are their wide receivers? Malik Neighbors. Like he can't throw himself the ball. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's leave it up to a chat vote. Chat, are we moving the Giants down to number 1 pick bound? Your vote. You guys are finalizing.
Yeah, I think that you can make an argument for the Giants. I mean, I see Ryan says change wild card to in the hunt so people don't get confused. And my thing is, wouldn't in the hunt mean like miss the playoffs? Like you're in the hunt, for the playoffs, or is he talking about?
I think it's good where it is. I think we just stop worrying about the.
Yeah.
The tier. I think the tiers are perfect. I looked up like multiple of these tiers things, and they all had missed the playoffs, wild card, and playoff teams. They all did it the same way.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think we should move the Giants down. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Giants, because I honestly the Cardinals will be better than the Giants. That's what I think. So I mean, if we're gonna move a team, it'd probably be the Giants out of all these teams, unless they start JJ, then we can talk about that. But
hey,
they'll be average.
Hey,
what'd you say?
No, I'm kidding.
So we have,
what did you say?
You might have to move them to the top if that's the case.
Yeah, well, I mess around and make them a playoff team.
So Super Bowl favorites:
win the Super Bowl.
Lions, 49ers, Ravens. I think that's good, right, boys? We could just over with.
Yeah.
Contenders:
I think it's
Bengals, Texans, Eagles. Should we put anyone else in a contender to win? Or are we good with that? And in that category.
I'm just gonna say it again. I would put the Packers in there and the Rams, but that was my thing, or either or.
If I had to pick, like if we had to split the Rams and Packers up to make it more realistic, I would say let's put the Packers up to Super Bowl contender.
Okay.
What do you guys think?
God damn it, it's tough.
If you let the chat pick contender, Packers or Rams, a part of me wants to lean with like Matthew and Sean McVay personally, because Jordan Love's like more of a question mark. We haven't really, but I get it. I'm not mad at either one, to be honest. I'm really not. I
think I would go the Rams.
I would lean Rams too.
Really? Over the Packers?
Packers. I see 2 Packers. We got to do a poll, man, just to make it.
I think the Packers. Let's do that. Because I'm gonna go down the list here, and we're gonna go step by step here, so we can get like the perfect one and just end it, because we're jumping around on it.
I'm seeing some Rams.
I'm seeing a lot of Rams. Yeah, dude. I'm seeing a lot of Rams. Let's just.
Yeah, I just put a poll. It'll take 5 seconds, and we'll just actual
So
percentage.
playoff
teams.
Like the rest of it. Let's do the playoff teams now. The teams that are a lock. Jets are, if they're healthy, they're a lock to make the playoffs. Correct?
I would say yes.
Packers, they're going to make the playoffs. Falcons, I think they're going to have a pretty good chance of making the playoffs. Dolphins, do we feel like good about them?
Yeah, I just think they have to show me. I mean, them on the road is a whole nother story. So I'd put them as a playoff team, not a contender.
Okay. Wild card now. Teams that are going to be fighting for the final wild card spots. Bucks are going to be fighting, I think, in that division, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Steelers, me and Gentry think they're going to be fighting for a wild card. Jags, wild card. Bills, wild card. As you guys don't think you guys are very biased about the Bills. Cowboys, wild card. Should we move? Like, this is where I get to where, like, the Browns are going to be contending for a wild card spot. Don't you guys think, or no?
Yeah.
I think
what's contending for? I mean, we're talking. That's it's like
the wild card spot is like, I would say a team that's at like 8 or 9 wins down the stretch have a chance to win 10 games to make the wild card. Like, who do you think's going to be there? And then average missing the playoffs is like I would say like 6 to 8.
The Bears could be moved up, because when we voted on that one, the wild card still wasn't a thing. We didn't have that category, and that's what I said about them. I think they'll be right behind the wild card, and they'll have a chance. So. Yeah,
don't hate that. We can move the Bears up.
So maybe
no.
Yeah, just leave. We'll put them like
put them at the back. Put them at the end. Put them at the end. Yeah.
That's the Bears. That we're talking about the Browns.
Oh, we're talking about the Browns? Yeah, the wild card. We'll put them like here. I think so. I mean, I don't hate that. Browns, yeah.
I like this list, boys. I
Yeah.
don't think this is that crazy.
Yeah,
I
Jeff,
think
you're
this
not slick. The whole chat caught you. You're trying to slide the Bears up there.
I actually thought you
the
said
bro.
Bears.
Too.
Like, oh,
I
okay.
swear, I will say, I think Gentry did say Bears because I got a little confused and I was like, oh yeah, I guess the Bears are going to be contending.
No,
I might have been. I don't know.
You know what?
I was so confused.
I like this. You know what? I do. I like this.
I think that we broke it down. I think this ended up turning out really well.
I like this one. We're gonna go ahead and save this one, boys. You know what?
Send me a picture of that, please.
We finally got it over with. You know what? We talked it through. We figured it out. We problem solved, and we came out with a solution here. So, hey, it's all good. Yeah, I thought that was pretty decent. You know, I thought that was pretty good when we got done with it. I don't know. I think we got there. It took a little bit, but it was better. Better. Yeah, I see. I see. See some people talking about maybe moving the Bears up. I mean, that fits the narrative, I guess. Jeff Olsen says Bucks winning 11 plus games, and the Bucks are kind of a wild card to be. Not, I mean, yeah, literally, but in terms of, I don't know if they're going to either go out and win 11, 12 games or win like 9-8.
I think the Bucks have a chance to win the division. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, they will. It's them and the Falcons. I mean,
yeah. I like the Bucks. I like that Bucks team
racing for the division. So I'm not mad at that take.
Because last year it felt like people thought the Bucks were going to fall off, and then they ended up winning it again.
I think losing Canales will hurt him a little bit.
For
I think
sure.
their offensive coordinator. He's another really good one, but you know that's just me. Ryan says Lucas said you didn't put Colts in the wild card. Yeah, the Colts. We got Booner he believes a little in the Jags.
Yeah,
a little bit, huh?
I don't know. That's a tough division, dude. You do gotta, as much as we think maybe that's not as easy of a division. Like the Colts, Jags, and Texans are going to be.
No, it's a good division.
Tough teams to play this year. Very tough. And if I had to put my life on one of those teams to come in number 2, I do think I would rather bet on Trevor Lawrence than an injured guy coming back from injury. Anthony Richardson, who really hasn't played a ton in the NFL yet.
Yeah, I do agree with that too. I'm taking the Jags over the Colts if we're picking between those two. But Trevor Lawrence was banged up down the stretch of that season, last season too. So him getting healthy may help that team.
Yeah, I mean they were 8-3, and he went down, or he was dealing with the ankle injury. So yeah, I mean Jags I think will be in contention. I think with Houston.
For sure.
Till Houston, I think will win it, but I think the Jags will be up there.
I guess when we had that conversation, it just didn't process through my head that the Jags are also in that division. That just wasn't going through my head. And I don't think we brought it up much, so I was a little. Maybe we did, but
Lucas is he doesn't believe in the Jags, so that's why you probably missed that part. But yeah, he's a little more higher
AR guy too. So
I wouldn't believe in the Jags if I was him. You, Gentry, left after what they did to you guys last year.
No.
Yeah,
Boone loves the victory lap on the T-Law stuff. He loves those.
Yeah, that was just so tough, dude. It was one of those things. Everyone picked him to be the MVP. It was like me actually last year. Obviously, I thought Josh Allen was going to win. I thought Justin Herbert was about to have a year, and he just how'd that work out for me?
And they were 8-3, and he wasn't playing amazing though. He was playing all right, but.
Yeah, no. If you had him as your
I had him in the Super Bowl,
you were still disappointed, even though they were 8-3. You would think your team's leading in fantasy or first place, but wasn't the case for.
Yeah, I had him in the Super Bowl, so I mean,
I did want to bring this up. Riley Green, dude, has been going fucking crazy. He was on Cycle Watch the other day. He's on Cycle Watch now. I had it on for a second.
He's on Cycle Watch right now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Let's go.
I'm pretty sure he had a homer and he already has single and double. The dude's been going insane.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, just yeah, he's
I gotta double check. Make sure I'm not trolling.
No, I mean
yeah, I don't the triple for the cycle. I mean, top of the 8th, but
we need a triple. Dog. What a game for him.
Yeah,
dude is a dog.
He's 22nd in the MLB in OPS, and he's tied for 21st in the MLB in home runs.
I keep getting these alerts too today. The Tigers, they're up 4-1, I think. So I'm pretty sure Parker Meadows just got called up today. He has a home run today. Colt Keith has a home run. Yeah,
Colt Keith has 2.
It's 2 home runs. Jeez.
Yeah.
Riley Green has one. Like the boys are going. That's big time.
Hey Boone, you got
We're up 5-2.
Over-unders? A couple?
Yeah. So all right, yeah, boys. This is what. So they're not over-unders, but I wanted to go through these because I've got 5 bets here for the Detroit Lions season that I want you guys to, and I think these are actually really good. So I'll start off with this one. Are you guys ready for the first one? All right, first one. This is a combined one.
Let's do it.
This is on FanDuel. They have Lions specials. One of them that they have, it's plus 600. It's Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams, and Sam Laporta. Each one of them to get 6 touchdowns each. So Amon-Ra St. Brown 6 touchdowns, Jamison Williams 6 touchdowns, and Sam Laporta 6 touchdowns, plus 600. Is that that's not that crazy, is it?
Yeah, about that.
I think the craziest part is the JMO.
Mike, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, JMO, 6 touchdowns each.
Plus 600.
Is this like an actual line?
Yeah. This is on a FanDuel. They have
6 touchdowns each. Ooh. I think St. Brown and Laporta will get that locked up.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I like the odds. I do like the odds.
I think it just comes down to JMO. And I think there's a chance, like you see, like I think you get down to the last 3 games, JMO has 4 or 5. And you're like, let's get an end around here, fellas. Come on.
And that's
let's
combined, like rushing and receiving?
Just receiving.
Oh,
what were the odds again, Booner? I'm sorry.
Plus 600.
Plus 600. Ooh.
I feel like that's good odds for all 3 of them each to get 6.
Yeah, I mean, you're really only getting those odds for JMO. I mean, Laporta and St. Brown are getting 6 no matter what.
I mean, he has 3 in his career. I mean, in the last 2 years, so you expect 6. I mean, I think he'll break out, and with that, more touches, more targets. I don't know. His TDs to me will be like big play TDs.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like if you're in the red zone, it's probably going to Laporta or Amon-Ra.
I do think there's a sense of Josh Reynolds leaving that JMO's going to get other targets and get opportunities for touchdowns. Like his targets are going to go up. A guy like him who has the playmaking ability, he's going to have opportunities to have breakout. Like look like a Tyreek and those guys who just like have that speed. It takes one slant route, boom, open field, he's gone for a touchdown. I don't think it's that crazy.
I'm gonna go. What's like yes or no? I guess it would be. Like,
I mean, yeah, it's just like would you take it or not? I guess.
I would not. I think JMO
so.
just misses it, like 5-4. That's
all
where
right. Gentry, would you take that bet?
Yeah, I think JMO has like 5, to be honest. So
fringe, it's close.
Yeah, it's tough. I don't know. I think if the odds were maybe a little bit better, but I understand why they aren't because Sam Laporta and St. Brown are getting 6. So
yeah,
I don't know. I'd probably stay away from it. But
all right, next one here.
Well, you said yes, Boone. You take it.
I would take it. Yeah, I think JMO gets 6. I do think he gets 6. Next one, Jahmyr Gibbs, 5 rushing touchdowns, 5 receiving touchdowns, plus 470. I'm hammering that.
Oh,
5 and 5.
Well, 5 and 5 piece. See, that's where this ties into the prior question, and I'll take this because Jahmyr's going to be another target in the red zone. So I think he could take some of that Josh Reynolds too, receiving. I'm gonna go yes on that.
I do like that one too. I'll take
it. He had 1 receiving last year, which is so he needs a big jump. But I think he gets more catches. Aiden Hutchinson, this is a Hutch one. Aiden Hutchinson, 15 plus sacks, plus 470. Man, you guys have no faith. These are great odds.
15, that's 16 sacks, Boone. That's a lot.
No, 15. You just need 15.
Oh, I think you said 15 and a half.
No, 15 plus. Like 15 or more sacks.
Oh, then yeah, I think I had him at 15. So yeah, I'll go ahead.
You said what are the odds?
Plus 470.
So if he gets 15 on the dot, you
hit. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty good odds, honestly. I'd take it. Fuck it.
Because you got to think his over under is probably going to be like 13 and a half. 14.
Yeah, I'll go on that. I think you said 15 and a half. I'm like shit because I have 15.
I don't mind that. Fuck.
I'm gonna say yeah.
I don't know if they release his over under, but I'm guessing it's going to be around 13 and a half, which that's like just minus 120 typically. So like if you're getting 2 more sacks plus 470. Sam Laporta 10 touchdowns, plus 210.
What do you have? He had 10 last year, didn't he?
He had 10 last year, I believe.
I'm gonna go under. I'm gonna go no. I'm not gonna take it.
Wow, you think he goes under? Okay.
Yeah, because it's hard to do back-to-back 10 TD seasons. That's
fair.
I'll go. I think he gets like 8. 8.
To be honest, I still think he gets it.
I think 10. I don't hate
that.
it.
I do like. There's still gonna have to be touchdowns like spread out. I do think Laporte is the one that I would bet 10 on. The last one I have here. This is Amon-Ra. They have an Amon-Ra St. Brown touchdowns one. They have him at 13 touchdowns, plus 500.
No.
No, don't waste your money.
No, I'll go like I think it's 11, maybe 12.
I don't know what his line's going to be out.
That's like freaking just absolutely money.
My guess is his line's 9.5, but
I see. I would go. I would think about the over on that. 13's a little high in my opinion.
Yeah. My favorite one is probably the Hutch one. To be honest,
I like. Yeah, that one's it's right in the wheelhouse.
At
was
plus 470. I like that too.
That's
yeah,
good.
Yeah, it's a good
Throw
one.
a little 25 piece on it. You know, I like that plus 470.
Honestly, too, if he gets 15, I might put like that. That's one. Well, I'm already going to bet it, but defensive player of the year for Hutch, because that's what plus 1,300.
Yeah.
If he hits 15, I think you have a pretty good chance of either cashing out or hitting it.
I mean, like J-Rod said, 13 is a lot, especially with this roster. Yeah, I mean, that to me, that would scream heavy Amon-Ra red zone dependent. Which they're going to run the ball, or
Monty, man.
Monty, yeah, you have Jameer. Sam, I think Sam gets close to. He could get 10. I
haven't see Monty's line.
I don't know if I haven't been able to find any of those lines.
Might have to go back to back.
I think David's going to be a lot higher. Obviously, a lot higher with rushing TDs. It'll be like. What do you think? Like 8.5, 9.5 for Monty?
I think more. I think 9.5. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, 9.5 is probably fair. Because what did he get? 13 last year.
Yeah, he'll probably be high this year.
I think Gibbs will probably be around 7.5, 8.5, maybe even 9.5 as well because he had 10.
You think Gibbs will be the one to bet on for rushing TDs this year? Because his will be a little lower than Monty. Because
I think they both hit. I think Monty's hits easy. I think he gets over 10. I think they both get over 10 again. They're so good at using both of them in the red zone. It's in like goal line.
It's fair.
David Montgomery's set at 8.5.
I'm taking that over for sure.
Give me the 10. And Jahmyr Gibbs is 7.5.
I'm taking the over on both. I think they both hit 10 again.
First question, mailbag. ETN says, which team do you want to beat the most this year, and which team would you hate losing to the most?
If we lost,
losing would be the Cowboys. Losing to the Cowboys.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I think which team you want to beat? 49ers. Which team would you hate losing to? Cowboys.
I think that's actually a very good. Yeah,
like that's to me that's got to be the answer for Lions fans, man. That would suck losing to the Cowboys again. Zay says, mailbag, who will be the wide receiver 4 this year? Booner, this is your question. This is all you.
Who knows? I think DPJ, so let Booner take it away.
Who knows, man? Who knows? You know what? Wide receiver 4 might not even be on the roster right now.
Well, wide receiver 3, we'd agree. You would say is Khalif.
Khalif, yeah, dude. Khalif's he's that guy right now.
DPJ.
I agree.
Oh, DPJ.
What else we got?
John will kind of ask the question, who's the starting wide receiver depth chart? I think we kind of right now it's got to be Amon-Ra, J-Mo, Khalif, DPJ, Antoine. Maybe Fountain. Maybe Fountain making some plays at training camp. Who knows? I think training camp will determine a lot.
Fountain.
A little Fountain action. Damon says, think about Bears caused Goff to have his 2 lowest quarterback ratings in 68 and 54 with 5 interceptions and 6 sacks. Shane Waldron offense put scores of 51, 48, and 37 on Lions 3 years straight. Kings of the North.
Bears, Kings of the North.
Who won the division last year? Is Demonda a Bears fan?
I would assume, yeah.
Who's the reigning Kings of the North? Do you guys know?
Yeah, I mean, I would say the Lions.
Yeah,
I think Shane Waldron is probably a bigger X factor of that team. I mean, he's a good OC, but I mean, we'll see. Shane Waldron, I think he's from the McVay tree. I think he's from McVay. He was under McVay, so he's a smart guy. But yeah, I don't think the Bears are going to go out. I mean, to win this, the King of the North, if he's making that point, you got to go out and win 12 games.
12, yeah, I mean, you can't say that after not even being close to winning the division.
Number one pick to 13 games. That's yeah, that's historic. Best rookie season of all time.
To be no, you're trying to write a Caleb Williams narrative right now. That wasn't their number one overall pick. Relax now.
It's fair.
Yeah, I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to start a little. I know what you're doing over there. I'm not going to let it happen.
There's a Panthers.
Yeah, you're trying to start a good narrative for Caleb Williams over there. I know how you roll a little bit.
Yeah. I was sneaking it in there, Boone. You caught me. Streetwise says mailbag. Why can't the Lions offense be an all-time great offense this season? It's rare, but this is the kind of offense that can do it. I mean, I think you guys would agree. It's probably J-Mo, big X factor. Probably if he turns into like an absolute just menace, which we think he can. I think that definitely puts them in like another.
I heard Mina Kimes say like if he turns into 80% of what people thought he could have been out of Alabama, that makes his offense just like insane. Like that's tough.
Yeah,
because 80% of what he was at Alabama is to me way better than what Josh Reynolds has been for you. So that's an upgrade. I think your point, like I think the whole offense determines on does J-Mo take that jump? Because if he turns into the J-Mo that we all thought, you just upgraded your wide receiver too. And that's where I think the big conversation is can you upgrade wide receiver too? And I think that's like the deciding factor.
Well, I want to say before we get out of here, thank you to everyone. If we just hit 8,000, we're almost at 8,100. We might even be there, honestly. I have to double check.
We're like 10 out right now.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you guys for your continued support. Get your merchandise, officialctsports.com. We got more merch on there. So go check it out. Stickers as well. Koozies in the summertime, especially for 4th of July. It would have been a great product to have yesterday. But hey, you can get them all on the website. Don't forget also, follow us on all social media platforms.
Hit that like button.
Sports. And we'll catch you guys Monday. Have a safe weekend. Have some fun.
Love you guys.
Stay safe out there. See you.